ericmuadedmuaded.com. Now, over time, I've been receiving requests on how to set up stockcharts.com so that it can look like the charts that I usually use on my videos. So this short video is just to show you what and how I set up my charts. And so what I'm gonna do is show you the parameters, just to keep it simple, that I'm using for my charts, so that anybody who wants to have similar looking charts, they can do so on stockcharts.com. And you can use any package on stockcharts.com to set up these settings. So number one, you can see here that over the last couple of minutes I have been setting up an account. As you can see here, I have the default. Now if you go to, and I'll show you how to do that, over here where we have the parameters below the charts, you'll see that there is this option here, set as default. And so if you want to have a default chart setting, click on that and it's gonna save that as your default. So every time you enter ticker symbol, it's gonna go that to the default. And what I've done here, StockCharts gives you these options to set some shortcuts here. As you can see, I have a weekly chart, a monthly chart option, a daily chart option, and an hourly chart option. Right now I am setting up a 5-minute chart option, and you can see here, let's see, 5 minute. So let me show you that. I'm setting up the 5-minute chart setting there, and what I'm gonna do is come here and show you what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm gonna change this to 0 months 10 days on the 5-minute, and I'm gonna change the extra bars to 5. I think I'm gonna leave the rest of this. So if you want to take a look at the 5-minute setting, this is what it looks like. You can pause the video and copy this into your stock chart settings. I'm gonna hit save or update. Now I'm gonna scroll back here. I want to save this setting, and so let's do that. And what I'm gonna do is click on add new. Click on that. I'm gonna change the name here. This is what I'm choosing. You can call it whatever you want, it's up to you, but this is gonna be my Fibonacci 5-minute. The reason why I use Fibonacci is because most of the numbers I'm using on my chart settings tend to be off the Fibonacci series. So 5-minute daily or 5-minute chart. Actually, let me change this to 10-day. You can call it whatever you want, it's not a big deal. So I guess it won't let me, but bear with me here. So I'm gonna go 10-day 5-minute chart, and then this is gonna be my number 5 button. So I'm gonna click on 5 and add. And so you can see here now it's added here. So every time I want to look at a 5-minute chart for any stock, I just need to click on that. It's very, very nice way of doing it. I think StockCharts has done a good job on keeping it very simple and clean. So that's the 5-minute added. So let's do another change, and next I want to add the monthly charts, but I want to change some parameters. So let's come here. I'm using a different chart that I use to copy. I'm copying it from another account. So I want to look at, so let's go to take a look at what I need to do here. And so scroll back here and change some of the parameters. And again, I'm looking for 34 months. And so what I'm gonna do is come here and change this to 2 years, 2 years and 10 months. So that's 24. I'm gonna keep the days to 0 and extra bars to 1. And then let's see what I need to change. I'm gonna change the moving parameters here to exponential. So exponential, and this is gonna be 8, and then exponential I'm gonna change the next one to 21. I might play around with the opacity on the lines. Sometimes I don't like the lines being too thick, but so I change that to 0.5, 0.5. You can play with that, and I think the rest of this is gonna be the same. Maybe I can go ahead and add volume, even though personally I don't use volume because I don't think it gives any information. The reason being that, in my opinion, every trade has a buyer and a seller, so net effect is 0. All right, so I need to change this to minutes, to monthly. And so here you have it. It's 34 months. And I like the 34 months view. By the way, I noticed that the volume right now is, and you can see I keep my volume pretty low, almost one of the last indicators. I can change that. So the volume right now is appearing as green. It's not showing the color coded ones. That's easy to fix. All I need to come here and select the color volume right there, color volume, click on that option, and I'm gonna come here and move this slightly higher. So I guess move it above. How do you move that? Hold on a second, let me figure this out. Okay, one thing I can mention here is if you want to change how your parameters and how the indicators appear. For example, if you want let's call it the MACD, if you want the MACD to be above the RSI, you can change the ordering. It's very easy. All you have to do is come here and click on this section here where you have the indicators. So right here, there's an option here, advanced options. So click on that and you have all this. So right now I'd like to move the volume up a notch. So I'm going to click on this button here and it's going to move it high, and then I'm going to update. And then I want to save this. So I'm going to come and see whether it has all the parameters I want. And I'm going to come here and click on add new. And I'm going to name that. So let's say I'm going to go with, I'm going to keep the same name, Fibonacci 34 month. So let's keep it that way, and it's going to be number 6. Click add, and so now you see it appears right here, right there. Hope you can see that. Now want to add one more, which is a long-term monthly view. And so let's come here and change something here. So let's go back to the monthly. I want to change the parameters for the long-term monthly view, and I'm gonna go here and change this. Click on this option here, predefined range, and I'm gonna go and select start and end date right there. Then I'm gonna come here and change the time period, and I'm gonna go all the way back to 1990 and January 1st. Click on the date, 1st of January, and I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put, let's call it December. So I'm gonna go, right now it's middle of 2015 July, so I'm just gonna go to the end of 2015, and I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna click update. Let's change this to the NASDAQ so we can have see what it looks like. So that's what the view is, long-term monthly view going back to 1990. That's what it looks like, and that's good enough. So we're gonna save that. Come here to add new. Let's get rid of that. You can call it whatever you want. So I'm just gonna keep long-term monthly, and then it's gonna be, I believe, number 7 if I'm right, and then click on add, and so now we have it here, long-term monthly. So we have it. So those are the main indicators that I use, or the main chart settings. And so what I'm gonna do is go and show you each one of them one by one, and you can pause the video to get the details of the settings. But before I do, remember now we did change the color settings on the volume here, and the option was very simple. We clicked on this option here, color volume. For example, if I unclick that and update, you'll see that the volume appears to be only one color. So to change that is very simple, and you can play around with all these parameters so you can get exactly what you're looking for. So we can click on that again and update. Alright, so that's how you change the volume settings on that one. Now the one thing you can see here that you have a couple of options. I think you can have up to 9 buttons or 9 options. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Currently I only have 7, and you can add up to 9. And I think you can add whatever settings you want, settings that you look at frequently on the stock charts or the stocks you are watching. And so you can always add new by going to add new, and then it gives you up to 9 options. So here you have all the way to 9 options, and these buttons are the ones that you can see being shown here, right there. So those are the options. So that's one. I think you can also click on this plus here. You can click on this plus button, and that option should allow you to add another setting to these choices here. Hope that makes sense. Now, other than these 9 options here that you use regularly, you can still use more than, you can add as many as you want. And to get to those other settings, you need to come here to chart styles and highlight the select, and that should give you all the options you need. For example, if I do that, you can see there's many other options on chart settings. And so let's just click on some of them. I don't even know what they are. You can see all these different chart settings. You can save, I think it's unlimited number of chart settings pretty much. Right here. Let's go to, I saw one. So all these are different ways you can access the chart settings. But I would rather use this right here. And so one thing I was going to point out is, let's say we are looking at a different, let's say we take a look at the Dow. If you enter any ticker symbol here, any ticker symbol entered here goes back to your default. Hope that makes sense. For example, if we go to the SPY, you can see now that it gives you back to the default, which is on my chart, it's the 2-year weekly, which is the first setting here. Now, if we, let's say, go back to the daily. So if we enter the ticker symbol now here, and let's say we go for stock like JP Morgan, actually now, let's take a look at the Nifty. You can see that now it doesn't give you the default, but it gives you whatever chart you are watching. Alright, so for example, if you want to go back to a default look, you enter it here. But if you want to look at the current chart setting, which is the daily on this example, then you put your ticker symbol entry here. Hope that makes sense. So let's say I want to take a look at the weekly chart for Facebook. I'll go, because my default is the weekly, I'll click on this portion, I'll enter my ticker symbol here. But let's say I go back and take a look at the Facebook daily or 5-minute chart. So this is a 5-minute chart for Facebook. And now I decide, well, okay, what about the S&P 500 5-minute chart? I don't enter the S&P 500 chart here because that will go back to my default. If I want to look at the current chart, I go and enter the new ticker symbol here, and that's a slight difference. So SPY, and by clicking enter, I get the 5-minute chart setting and not the default. So if you want to look at a different chart but the same chart settings, you enter it here. If you want the default look on any chart that is fresh ticker symbol, you enter it here. Hope that makes sense. Hope it does, because that's a slight distinction. Sometimes deciding where you want to enter your ticker symbol can make a difference on what chart setting you're going to see. And anyway, it's not a big deal. You can always use these buttons here to decide which chart you want to look at next. Okay, in conclusion, let's go back. I want to show you all the settings. We're going to begin with the default, which is the weekly chart, 2-year weekly, and I'm going to scroll down so you can take a look at the parameters that I use. and you can pause the video right there and copy the parameters if that's what you want, or play with that. The second setting is the monthly view, and again we go back, I'll show you the parameters. You can pause the video right there, copy those parameters. The next view is going to be the daily, and we are going to go and I'm going to show you again the parameters. And the next view is the hourly, and again we take a look at the parameters. And then after that is the 5-minute, 10-day chart settings, and let's take a look at the settings there. So those are the settings, and then we go to the 34-month, and remember you can order this the way you want, so this is just my preference, and that's the 34-month view and the settings for that. And lastly, my long-term monthly view, and here are the settings. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention was, if you want to replace any of these buttons here, let's say you want to replace something, the parameters, the color, the indicators, and you want to replace them, it's very simple. They have a nice option here where you can come and click on replace, and it's going to ask you which of these options here do you want to replace. So click on the one you want to replace and just hit this button here, the replace button, and that should replace it. For example, let's change something. Let's change, so this is now the long-term monthly view. If we change it to, let's say, so this is 1990, let's go to 2009 January, update, and let's say we want to save that as our long-term monthly view. All you need to do is come here and click on replace, and we're going to go back to the long-term monthly view here. Click on this option, click replace, and now let's say you go back to the default and you decide you want to look at the long-term monthly view, and this time it's only from 2000 or 2009, and that's what you get because you replaced it. If I want to go back, it's very simple, and change the where it starts. I'll just come here as an example and change the start date, go back to 1990 January, update that, and then I'm gonna go here and click on my replace, come here, change the long-term monthly view, click on replace, and now try something else here. Let's go to, let's find any ticker symbol we want, and then go to long-term monthly view, and you can see that it's changed because it goes back to 1990. So that's how you replace that. Also, there's other options. For example, you can decide to delete something or edit the parameters on any settings. You just click here and come and say settings, and let's say you want to change the ordering, so you can change the order. Maybe you want it to be the first one or the second one on your buttons. This is where you do the editing of those parameters. So pretty cool setup. If you want to add a new option, just click on add new, and it should give you an option to add the new button. Right now I think they only go to 9, and that's your option, to have at least 9, and you can change the ordering and all that stuff very easily from this group of options here. Now just spend a second here on how you can use this day to day. So let's say you're looking at the S&P 500, or let's find a stock that, let's assume you want to take a look at Microsoft, and by clicking and entering your information here, the ticker symbol, you go to the default. So this is a 2-year weekly chart, all right, and you can see that. So you've seen the weekly, and you see that maybe it's failing to break out. It failed to break out, and it's been lower since. So that was a sell signal here, and you want to see what the daily looks like. Maybe it's due for a bounce. So you go to your daily option, click daily, and you get your daily view. Let's say you want to take a look at the hourly chart. You go to click on the hourly option, and there you have your hourly option. Maybe you decide you want to look at the 5-minute window. You can add that. Remember, you can add as many parameters as you like to use. And if you want to take a look at the monthly, long-term monthly view, you click on the long-term monthly view option. It's very simple, and just play around with it, and that should give you at least beginning and a start point on how to set up your stockcharts.com, especially for those who want them to look like the charts I discuss on my videos. So you can play with all these things, but that's my settings for those of you who've been asking. Again, hope it helps one of you guys out there. Eric Mwathe with Mwathe.com. As always, good luck, peace, and blessings. Woo! Yeah.